Now, seventh graders, let's go ahead and get this homework out of the way. Here's number one. We got find the sum, right, fractions in simplest form when we're adding these together. We see a positive and negative, that makes a negative. 5, this is actually going to be 5 over 9. And we're subtracting 2 over 9. Luckily, the denominators are the same. 5 minus 2 is 3, so this is 3 over 9. Remember, it does say to put it in the simplest form. Both of these are divisible by 3. So we're going to reduce it by dividing it by 1 in the form of 3 over 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So this answer is 1/3. Remember, I'm only doing the odd ones, so I'm going to number 3 now. This one is mixed numbers. So we got negative 3 and 1/8 minus negative 2 and 3/8. I can't take 3 away from 1. What I can do is borrow 1 over here. And some of you have learned to go around the world. We're going to do it both ways. If I do this around the world, this is 24 plus 1. This would be a negative 25 over 8. And then you would be, let's see, positive times a negative. That's a negative, right? So actually, we're not subtracting at all. We're adding these together. That kind of makes it a little different. If I was going to add these, I could go ahead and say that this is negative, well, that's 16, 17, 18, 19. So this would be negative 19 over 8. And if I add these together, that's going to give me one big number here. 25 and 5 plus 9 is 14. Carry the 1. That'll be 3, 4. So that'll be 44 over 8. 44 divided by 8 is going to give me, well, 8 goes into 44 5 times, because that'll give me 40 with 4 left over. 4 over 8 is saying 1/2. So this would be 5 and 1/2. The other way I could do this is we realize 1, remember, when my signs are the same, I find the sum. 1 plus 3 is going to give me 4. 8 is my denominator. And then we got 3 plus 2 is 5. And the other rule is when my signs are the same, not only do I find the sum, but I keep the same sign, right? And look right there, I've got the same number here and here, which means when I reduce this one, I also get 5 and 1/2. So 5 1/2 would be my answer for number 3. Either way, let's go ahead and do number 5 now. Find the volume. Remember, volume equals big B times H. The big B is the base, which is going to be a rectangle. That formula for a rectangle is length times width. And then we're going to multiply everything to the height. Well, the length is 5. The width is 3. And the height is 3 right here. Well, I know that 5 times 3 is 15. And 15 times 3 is 45. So this would be 45 meters. Remember, the volume is in cubes. All right, we're going to go to number 7 now. Put these from least to greatest. The absolute value of 4.5 is 4.5. Remember, we need these all in the same term. Negative 3.6 stays negative 3.6. Then we have 2. Then we have the absolute value of negative 1.8, so that's going to be 1.8. And then we have 1.2. Now we have to put these in order. Well, my smallest one is going to be my negative number, so we'll put that first, negative 3.6. Now, let's see, that takes this one out. Now I'm looking for the next smallest number. All of these are positive numbers. I know that, oh, I'm sorry, this is 1.2. 1.2 is less than 1.8, and they're both less than 4.5 and 2. So my next one's going to be 1.2. And the next one will be 1.8. But this says absolute value of negative 1.8. So I have to put it like that. So let's see, this one's gone, and this one's gone. And the next number, I guess, would be 2. And the last number would be 4.5. Oh, I'm sorry, absolute value of 4.5. Yep, 2 and yep. So that would be my order there. Let's go to number 9. It says choose a fraction, choose a unit fraction to represent the space between the tick marks on the number line. Write the expression involving subtraction that is being modeled. I think I told you guys that I didn't want you to do this because I don't like the way that they're doing it, but just in case they give you something like this, the way I would do it is I see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 altogether. They went back 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I could say that they went back 4, 6, negative 4, 6, right? Choose unit fraction represent the space between the tick marks on the line. Write an expression involving subtraction that is being modeled, and find the difference. So this would be negative 4 over 6 plus 5 over 6. And that would give me a positive 1 over 6, because when my signs are different, I find the difference. I take the big number minus the small number. That's 5 minus 4, give me 1, and I keep the sign of the big number. It's a positive 1, 6. All right, let's go with number 11. Find the difference, write fractions in simplest form. The difference here, well, we've got negative 12 minus 14. When my signs are the same, I find the sum. 12 and 14 make 26. And then I keep the sign, the same sign, so it's a negative 26. Number 13, a negative times a negative. Remember when we have signs on each side of the parentheses, they're being multiplied to each other. So this is really going to be 5 over 8 plus 7 over 8. So now we're adding these two together. 5 and 7 make 12 over 8. I know 12 over 8 is going to be equal to 1 and 4 over 8. And 1 over 4 over 8, since they're saying in simplest form, that's 1/2. So this would be 1 and 1/2. Next, I got number 15. This is a negative 1 minus 2.5. Remember, when my signs are the same, I find the sum. When I add these together, I get 3.5. Remember, we have to line up our decimals, right? So it's going to be like adding 2.5, right? Which means there should be a 0.0 over here, right? And that'll be a 5 coming down, then a 3. And I know you're thinking it's a plus. Remember, the rule is when my signs are the same, I find the sum. So that means we're not looking at the sign in front of it. We're just adding these. And we keep the same sign. So this would be a negative 3.5, right? So that's it. This would be a negative 3.5 for my answer. Number 17. This time I have a positive and negative. When I have a positive and negative, I take the big number minus the small number. I'm ignoring my signs right now. I have to borrow one. This will give me a 6. This will give me a 2. Then I keep the sign of the bigger numbers. This will be a negative 2.6. Number 19 now. My signs are the same, so I find the sum. I can add these. 3 plus 1 is 4. But wait a minute. Oh, I can't do that. I thought I had a common denominator. I got to make these denominators the same. I know I can use 24 as a denominator, right? So I'm going to take this and multiply it to 3 over 3. because 8 times 3 is 24. I'm going to multiply this to 4 over 4 because 6 times 4 is 24. So now this is going to equal negative 8, and 3 times 3 is 9. That'll be 9 over 24. And then we're going to be subtracting 10, and 1 times 4 is 4. And then 6 times 4 is 24. Now I can add these together. 9, remember, when my signs are the same, I find the sum, so we're adding these together. We're going to get a negative answer. 9 plus 4 will give me 13 over 24. And then 8 plus 10 is 18. So this will be negative 18 and 13 over 24. Let's go to number 21 next. I got negative 1/2 minus negative 5/9. Remember, when negatives on each side of the parentheses, they become a negative times a negative, which makes a positive. I can rewrite this as negative 1 over 2 plus 5 over 9 now. When my signs are different, I find the difference, but I still need a common denominator. I'm going to multiply this to 9 over 9, which will give me negative 9 over 18. Remember, we're multiplying this top and bottom to 9, so we can get 18 on the bottom, right? Over here, we'll multiply each of these to 2 over 2. You see, I'm taking this number, multiplying it to both the numerator and denominator. I'm taking this number and multiplying it over here, all right? And that's going to give me a positive 10 over 18. Now my denominator is the same. Remember, when my signs are different, I find the difference. 10 minus 9 is going to be 1. And 18 goes on the bottom. When my signs are different, I keep the sign of the bigger one, so that answer is going to be 1 over 18. Next is number 23. Negative times a negative is a positive, so this is 6.673 plus 8.29. So I can just stack these. I want to line up my decimals. I'm going to put 8.29 here. And I'll just put a 0 at the end here because there's nothing there, right? So all I do was bring that down there. 3 plus 0 is 3. 9 plus 7 is 16. Carry the 1. 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 1 makes 9. And then 6 plus 8 is 14. So this would be 14.963. All right, let's go to number 25. Your friend finds a difference. Is your friend correct? Explain your reasoning. Let's see. He took this here and said, since I have different signs, I'm going to find the absolute value of this and add it to the absolute value of this. And that's going to equal 12 over 2, which is 6. I cannot agree with this because when my signs are different, I find the difference, which means I'm going to subtract. So this part here is wrong, right? In this case, I'm going to take the big number, 9 over 2, minus the small number, 3 over 2. 9 minus 3 is 6. Denominator was 2. I keep the sign of the bigger number. So since this was the bigger number, it'd be a negative 6 over 2. Now that I've got that, I realize that 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this is really negative 3. All right, we're going with number 27 now. Oh, one of these again. Okay. Well, they're going to want us to do number 27. So we got from 0, we went back looks like between 1/2 and 3/4. Well, what's between 1/2 and 3/4? Uh, if this is a fourth, then this has to be half of that, which would be 1/8, right? Uh, so we know this would have to be 2/8. No, this would be 3/8, excuse me, 3/8. Um, 4/8 is 1/2. So this, I guess, is 5/8. Um, so we're talking negative 5/8. And then we're going to add 5/8, which gives us 0. All right, let's go to number 29. You have number 28 there. You have 2 2/3 ounce of sodium chloride. You want to replicate an experiment that uses 2 3/4 ounce of sodium chloride. So we're not going to be using, wait a minute, you have 2 2/3 ounce of it. You want to replicate an experiment that uses 2 3/4. Okay. Do you have enough? Okay, so which one is bigger here is what they're asking. If not, how much more do you need? Do I have enough? Well, if I put this as, let's keep it as fractions here. We want to know how much, do I have enough? So we have to take the big number minus the small. We got to find the difference, right? So on one over here, we got 2 2/3. I got to find out what the bigger number is. Over here, we have 2 3/4. When I take, if I find a common denominator here, it would be 12. So I'll multiply this to 4 over 4. And I'll multiply this to 3 over 3. So if I was to do this, this would be 2. And 2 times 4 is 8. And 3 times 4 is 12. Over here, I would have 2. And then 3 times 3 is 9. And 4 times 3 is 12. You can see this one is bigger here. So 3/4 is more than 2/3. So they're asking, do we have enough? And it says, I want to replicate it that uses this, but I only have this. So no, I don't have enough. I need, well, if I was to subtract this, right, I take the big number minus the small number, and then I keep the sign of the big number. So I would need 1/12 more, right? Because 2 minus 2 is 0, and 9 minus 8 is 1. So this would be 1/12. So I would need, I need 1/12 more. 1/12 ounces more. All right, let's go on to number 31. Tell how the commutative and associative property of addition can help you evaluate the expressions and evaluate them. Commutative property allows me to move these around, and associative allows me to group them. So I could turn this into 3 over 4, right? And then combine it with the negative 3 over 4, because they both have common denominators. And then I'll add 2 over 3 to that. Well, 3/4 minus 3/4 is 0, so that means 0 plus 2/3. Anything plus 0 is itself. So this is going to be 2 over 3. Let's go to number 33. Here I'm going to combine my positive numbers and my negative numbers together. First, my positive numbers, I got 8.5 plus 3.4. And I see over here a negative and a negative on each side of this parenthesis. A negative times a negative is a positive, so I'll make this a positive 1.6. I'm going to group them together using associative property, and then I have to subtract 6.5 from all that once I've added them together. Let's go ahead and stack this. I got 3.4, 1.6, and I have 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 5 is 15. Here are the 1. 8 plus 1 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is 13.5. That's all these numbers, so they're gone. And that's minus 6.5. Remember, when my signs are different, I find the difference. So now I'm going to take the big number, 13.5, minus the small number, 6.5. This is going to give me 0, and then 7, right? And keep the sign of the big number. This is positive over here, so 7 will be my answer. All right. Okay, next I'm going to do number 35. This is subtraction over here. So I'm going to use my associative property to group my addition together and make this 2.1. And I'm going to add 5.8. Then I'm going to minus 4.1. I want to add these together. I'm going to line up my decimals. This will give me a 7.9 minus 4.1. When my signs are different, I find the difference, which means I take this big number, I minus this small number, and I keep the sign of the big number. 9 minus 1 is 8, 7 minus 4 is 3, 3.8 should be my answer. All right, looks like I'm on the last batch here. I'm going to go to number 37. It says, find distance on a number line. Find the distance between the two numbers on a number line. Well, the distance between 2.7 and 5.9. So think about the number line here, right? If this was 2.7, and this is 5.9, not adding these together, I'm just trying to find how much is from here to here. So that's the difference. I'm going to take this big number, 5.9, minus the small number, 2.7. Right? And that's going to give me a 2. This will give me a 3. The distance is 3.2. All right, number 39, negative 2.2. And let's again look at this. If I have a negative 2.2 on my number line, I have to cross through 0, right? And then I go all the way to 8.4, which means I need all the numbers between here added to this. I'm adding these two together. So this would be 8.4 plus 2.2. 4 plus 2 is 6. And 8 plus 2 is 10. This would be 10.6. All right, number 41 is mine. Again, if we're on the number line, and this is negative 1.85, we have to cross through 0, right? And then get all the way to 7.36. This means I have to add all the numbers from here to 0, and then add them to all the numbers here. So this is going to be 7.36 added to 1.85. This is going to give me 1 here, the 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here, the 1, 7, 8, 9. So this would be 9.21. Number 43. Once again, from here and here, I would be at 2.491, and I'd have to cross through 0 to get all the way to negative 3.06, which means I'm adding these numbers together. So I'm going to take 3.06 with the absolute value of negative 3.06 and add it to 2.491. I mean, we're adding here. I could put a 0 here if I want. 0 and 1 is 1. 6 and 9 is 15. Carry the 1 gives me a 5. Plus 4 plus 1 is 5. And 5 plus 2 gives me a 5. My answer is 5.551. And the left, hold on, wait a second. This is not a 0. My apologies. I just realized that I wrote the wrong number here. This is actually a 5. Almost got away from me. So that means I'd have 5 plus 1, which makes 6. So my answer should be 5.556. Now let me double check all this. 2.491, 3.065. Yes, that'd be my final answer. Number 45 now. Again, if this was a number line, this would be negative 1 1/3. I'd have to pass through 0. And over here it would be 12 and 7/12 positive. So that means I'm adding all of this to all this. So I'm going to take, let's see, 12 and 7/12. I'm going to add it to 1 1/3. I need common denominators. I can multiply 1/3 to 4/4. And that way my denominator would be 12. So this will turn to 12 and 7/12 added to 1, and 1 times 4 is 4, and 3 times 4 is 12. My denominators is the same now. So 7 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This makes 11/12. And 12 plus 1 makes 13. This becomes 13 and 11/12. Looks like I've finished with all the odd ones. The rest of them are for you to do. Good luck, and I'll see you in class to go ahead and grade.